make sure you don't encounter that. You can have a small gap, but no more than 63 days.
Interesting. Okay, well that's good to know. But can you talk about where the minefields or the pitfalls might be for people who decide they're going to try to work this out on their own and not use an agent or an expert like you guys to figure stuff out? What can go wrong? What can possibly go wrong?
Well, I guess the creditable coverage thing I just mentioned, is one that they could be a pothole they would stumble in. Randy, what are some other ones you've encountered?
Yeah, a couple of things. If first off, if you are low income, if you qualify for low income subsidy, those are things that you're going to want to take advantage of. You're going to want to reach out to your state, as there may be additional benefits that you would be eligible for, richer benefits if you meet those low income subsidy requirements, and you would reach out to your state to find out details on that. I know another one is inaction. So people that are leaving that good IBM job and they say, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay on original Medicare. And because I don't take prescriptions now, I'm not going to buy a prescription drug card, which then leads them into a penalty. People who leave their employer, and everyone, most people qualify for Part A automatically. The Part B you have to turn on. And those people that don't have prior coverage and don't turn on their Part B, there is a penalty. Medicare charges a penalty for that as well. So that there's some people that miss out on that.
What about, let me ask a question while you're on that topic. How do they figure out what your penalty is? Does everybody pay the same amount of penalty, or is it your income, or how do they figure out how much you have to get zapped for?
For not having the coverage, there is a calculation, and it's a percentage times how many months. It's a little long and drawn out, and I don't like to quote it because if I'm off by a penny, the people will blame me. But it's on the Medicare.gov website.
Oh, good.
That penalty.
Yeah. Good. That's the main thing. They can find out how much they're going to have to chalk up if they don't do it.
So inaction will cost you something. And I think the key thing is, this can be overwhelming. And I've sat down with Brad and I have sat down with many a senior, sitting down at their kitchen table. They've got a stack of paperwork. And it could be overwhelming understanding, okay, keep this because this comes from the state and you'll want to keep this, and this is your proof of coverage. You can get rid of this and let me help you sift through these other things. It can be extremely overwhelming, and I would just encourage you that if you need help, there is a lot of help above and beyond Brad and I. I mean, although I think we're probably the best help out there in the universe.
Right on.
But there is plenty of help out there through the government websites, through the county that can navigate you through this. And don't be afraid. This is this is one of the areas of the government where they are really working with seniors, and the government really wants this to be successful. They want the seniors to have the best coverage that they're eligible for.
Okay, that's good. But I want to ask one question. We're going to get ready to wrap up, but how do you know if a senior is talking to various quote unquote independent agents or whoever they may be? How do you know they're legit? I mean, do you have to be licensed, and do you have to pass a test? What are the requirements or the qualifications for an agent, and what kinds of questions would a person ask you to see if you're a good match for them?
Sure, I'll take that. So first off, you have to have an insurance license. Second, each year we are required to take an AHIP examination. And so the test comes out in July, and that is a test. AHIP is a certifier that all the insurance carriers use. The exam is we've got to do 6 modules of study followed by an exam. And it usually for the quicker of us, it's probably a 3 to 4 day process, 8 to 5 every day, and then the exam. And that exam, we've got 3 opportunities to get a 90 or better. And if we don't get that 90 or better, then we failed and we have to wait until next calendar year. Then following that, with each individual carrier that we're contracted with, we've got to complete their certification. So those 2 things tend to wash out a lot of people. And by wash out, meaning, make folks that say, okay, this is just too much work, I'm not going to get involved. And so theoretically, if someone were curious, I could produce my certification showing that I did pass AHIP. And I think it might even have my grade on there too. But know that if I've got a certification, it has to be a 90 or better.
So only the strong survive.
Absolutely.
And that's why the 2 of you have about 50 years combined in the insurance industry. You guys know your stuff and you know what you're doing. Any last words that you would have, just last bit of advice or something you want to make sure you drive home to listeners so they know, okay, I got to remember this. If I don't take anything else away from this, here's what I have to remember about what you guys said, and tell them that they're not going to be quizzed.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to wrap up, I think. I guess another thing I just wanted to point out that seniors may not be aware of is that agents like us our consulting services there's no charge to the individual. So if we enroll them in a plan, we're compensated the same whether we roll them in carrier A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And so our focus is really on just finding solutions for seniors in terms of what fits their scenario best. As Randy said, based on their usage, based on their lifestyle, their current list of medications, and or if they're going to be qualified for a low-income subsidy, or if there are different levels of that. You can be a qualified Medicare beneficiary, and then there's a QMB plus status. So we can just help them sort through all that.
So you're basically like Hello Dolly, the movie, where you match up people with the best insurance for them and make sure that they are happy and have it taken care of. And then you come back the next year and say, well, how was it? And then they tell you, well, I need to have this because I discovered I have this. And so then it's like having somebody to hold your hand and guide you through the process so you don't make stupid mistakes and you get the best coverage. Is that a way to sum it up?
I think so. We're here to help. And again, the beautiful thing is that if they enroll through us or if they go directly online, it's the same cost. So you might as well, if you can, speak to someone that is knowledgeable, because there's not going to be an additional cost, no fee, no nothing like that. We're going to give you our honest assessment and say, okay, here's what I'm seeing. I went to Best Buy last weekend to buy a television, and I asked the guy, I said, look, I've had of this, I'm looking at of that, what do you say? And the guy said, look, I've got people that bought this TV and that TV, and here are the complaints that I'm getting. If you're okay with that, if you're okay in a dark room or a lit room or this room or that room, but here's another TV that addresses both of those issues. What do you think best meets your needs? And that's our role, to be that guy at Best Buy to say, okay, here's what I've seen. We want to put you in the best insurance plan, the best TV that works for you. You're not paying us for our services. We don't have a favorite, meaning like we really want you to go here because we get more money. We want you to be in the plan that says this is the plan that I can be in the longest and I can be in the happiest.
That sounds a perfect way to wrap it up. The only thing we're missing is to have the 2 of you give your contact information so that listeners can reach out to you and find out more information and have you be their guide through this maze. So thank you so much, Brad, and thank you so much, Randy, for joining me. This is a 2-part series, so you need to listen to last week and listen to this week very carefully. And if you still have questions, I'm going to have Brad and Randy give you their contact information so you can ask them more, because the open enrollment time is coming. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you, Debbie. It was a pleasure being here. My name is Brad Rothermel. My email is pretty similar. It's just Brad A. Rothermel, and the last name is Rothermel, and the email then is bradarothermel@gmail.com.
Awesome. And what about you, Randy?
Thank you. My name is Randy Phillip. My email address is Randy, RANDY, at T as in Thomas, H as in Harry, E as in Echo, W as in Washington, I as in Ice, C as in Cat, G as in Girl.com.
Awesome. There's a great show this week and last week, and I thank you so much for helping to let people know who are just now starting out on the Social Security, Medicare route, and those of us who've had it for a while. I know everybody learned something today because of your excellent advice. So thank you very much for joining me, and make sure you listen to last week too.
Great. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.